Hi, just wanted to show you this keyboard I made for sculpting in Zbrush. So it's basically 6 capacitive buttons and they are controlled by Arduino Leonardo, which acts as an USB keyboard, and those buttons are binded to specific buttons on the keyboard. So this one is, I think this one is Control, this one is Alt, this one is Shift, this one is S for the brush size, this one is opening a custom menu, and the last one changes the roles of those two buttons. So if I hold it and press this one, it opens another custom menu with different brushes, and this one opens the slider for the Z intensity. So the idea is mostly to make something that doesn't require you to do this whole finger yoga on the keyboard to activate some stuff, because some shortcuts in ZBrush aren't convenient, aren't comfortable, and I'm searching for a way to make it more comfortable. Like, ZBrush isn't the worst in that case, but still I think there's something like a way to improve the workflow. So I will just sculpt something using this keyboard just to test it, to show you how it works in practice. So I had to set up a few things and I think we're good to go. Okay, so the main problem with the keyboard is that the buttons are capacitive, and that's cool. Like that's the idea. I really wanted to test them out. They're cool because there is no mechanical parts to them. You don't have to debounce them through the software. They're great, but you can't rest your fingers on them, because that would count as a click, because they just react on the proximity of the finger. They even can be activated when the finger doesn't touch the button but is slightly above it. So it happens that you have false positives of the button presses. I'm not sure those buttons are the best to make something like that. I just wanted to test them out, and I think they are interesting. Like, there is something to them. I think I will try to use them for something else. But I don't know. For now, I just want to really test that happens sometimes, because I pressed 2 buttons at once, and one of those was Shift, and ZBrush. So basically I would like to make a controller which is specific for the sculpting process. It's not really specific for ZBrush, because you can't put all of the functionality of ZBrush on a keyboard like that. But there are the main thing you would like to do while sculpting is just sculpting itself, not going through all the menus and stuff like that. So during this process of sculpting, it would be great to have everything under your fingertips without any distraction, to have any key combinations and stuff like that. Because like all of those key combinations that keyboards offer you give you a lot of flexibility and allows you to put a lot of functionality on the keyboard. But at the same time, when you're sculpting, you don't need all of this. Like, you don't need all those options on the right or on the left. Sometimes you do, sometimes you have to change a parameter like dynamesh resolution, stuff like that. That's obvious, but that's not something you will have a hotkey for. You may have a hotkey to toggle dynamesh, but that would, I don't think a lot of people do that. So I'm talking about this most important, the core stuff, like changing the brush size, changing the brush itself, moving, like panning, zooming in, zooming out, like doing those things. Like those are the things that you're doing the most, and that's something I would like to have constantly under my fingertips, and without any big hassle to do it. I don't want to press like wild key combination. So if I were to expand upon this project, I would probably have to find a way to add more functionality, like, because right now the last button allows me to expand the functionality, but and it actually changes the behavior of the two of the keys, and I can expand it to change the behavior of all of them, and I would probably do that, but that isn't that convenient, because as I've said, I would like to have as small buttons pressed at once. Like, I don't want to have some fancy combinations to do it, and having these modifier keys is counterproductive to this goal. So that's something I would like to avoid. So another option is to just add more keys, but that would make controller more complicated, and like make it like, I don't want to make it as close as possible to a standard keyboard. That's not my goal. I want to make something different. At least experiment with the idea. But still, I have to find a way to be able to cram more functionality without sacrificing the convenience. So I would like to implement double tapping, for example, use this modifier key idea, maybe just adding one more key to get another layer of functionality, like using it as another modifier key. Maybe that would be enough, having 3 layers plus double tapping. Either way, I think there is space for making those custom controllers, and there are some ideas, some solutions. If you are watching this video on my website, you can click blog section on the top, and you will find an article about human computer interaction, and then there you can read more about what I think in the subject. And also there is a link to a YouTube video in which I test like an analog controller for Blender. It's basically 3 potentiometers that allow me to control the color of a material. And that's an idea I got from Polycount, from a thread from some time ago. And you will find the link to the thread in this article. So I encourage you to go there, because it's really interesting stuff. One of the polycounters used like MIDI controller to do the same as I did with Blender. So basically controlling material parameters and modeling through another controller. It was using MIDI commands. So using those MIDI controllers is actually a good idea, because you already have a communication protocol, which is those MIDI commands. It's easy to read, easy to parse. There is a lot of libraries in Python, in other languages to handle MIDI devices. So that's actually a cool idea, cool way to go with this subject. And there are other projects which explore this idea of custom controllers. Like for example, there was this project Palette, I think it was called, and it was basically those tiles, buttons, sliders, knobs, which you could program, and it was targeting the video. I think it was the video editing crowd and like photo editing. But from what I have seen recently, they have added MIDI support, so it's really easy to handle the input from the device yourself, which actually allows it to work with Zbrush. With Zbrush it would be hard because like Zbrush uses its own Z scripting language, and plugging something in there might be hard. I'm not sure, I haven't used it that much. But for example, in Blender has the Python environment built in, so you can actually program anything you would like, because like, come on, in Python there is a lot of libraries for everything, so it shouldn't be a problem to implement a MIDI device. Okay, so going back to this keyboard, I don't know, it's cool. It's a cool idea, I think, worth exploring. Not sure it's the thing yet. Come on, it's not. Don't kid ourselves. It's not. It's at least not yet. Who knows? So that's it. As you can see, sculpting with it is rather, I wanted to say convenient, but I would say possible. This keyboard takes a bit of time, like a day or two, to get used to, but after that it's pretty okay, pretty convenient to use. So yeah, that's it. Thanks guys, and see you next time.